Hey, so I have actually had a lot of people lately asking me how I do my makeup for Cloud, so at the expense of me possibly looking dumb because I've never filmed any sort of tutorial before, I thought that I would give it a try. I don't have everything I need for Cloud, like I'm still missing the suspenders and this is still a little work in progress-y. But yeah, I just put everything I had on already, and so I'm going to show you how to look like this. I'm starting by priming my entire face to have a nice smooth surface to work with. And this step is optional if you already have thin, straight, or blonde eyebrows, but since mine are dark and I also shave half of them, I chose to block out my existing eyebrows to draw on new ones that look a little more like what Cloud has. And I'm cleaning up any excess glue on my skin with a makeup wipe while the glue is still sticky so I don't end up with a bunch of crusty bits peeling up from around my eyebrow later on. Once I've applied the glue stick 2 to 3 times and the glue is dry, I'm putting a little concealer over my eyebrows and patting it in with a sponge. Be careful not to press too hard while you're doing this or you might pull up the glue. Then I'm taking a powder brush and using a stippling motion, I'm patting some powder over the concealer to set it in place. Next I'm taking a light brown eyeshadow on an angled brush to draw in the new eyebrow shape. Cloud's got pretty straight eyebrows that angle a little upwards, so I'm trying to follow that shape the best that I can. Now I'm taking a small flat rounded brush with some concealer and using it to really clean up the edges of the new eyebrows that I just created. And once I'm finished with that, I'm taking more powder to set the concealer around the edges of my eyebrows. This also will help lighten up the color a little bit more too. Now I'm putting on foundation all over my face and blending it in with a wet beauty sponge. And normally I conceal under my eyes after foundation, but I have pretty prominent dark circles, and for Cloud I don't mind that little bit of extra darkness, so I let him be. I realized as I was about to set my foundation with powder that I hadn't put in my contacts yet, so I went ahead and did that in case my eyes watered after they were in, so I could touch up my makeup more easily if that happened, but thankfully it didn't. Now I'm contouring my cheekbones and making the little fishy face. Generally it'll help you find where to place your contour, but keep in mind that your face shape might not necessarily need contour in the exact same places as mine. And then I'm blending out that contour. I'm also contouring my jaw because I have no jawline to speak of, so if you have a really strong jaw, congratulations, and you can probably skip this step. And don't forget to blend that as well. Next, I'm contouring my nose and blending that up sort of into my brow bone. And I'm blending that out with a small fluffy brush. Next I'm highlighting, and for male characters I find that shimmery highlighters are usually a little bit much, so I'm patting in a strobe cream on the tip of my nose, my cupid's bow, my chin, and my cheekbones. Be extra careful when you're using a liquid highlighter because if you pat too hard you can sometimes pull up your foundation, so try to use as little product as you can, and don't rub it in because your foundation will almost definitely come off. Personally, I like to add a little highlight on the inner corners of my eyes as well. It gives me that sort of bright and anime sort of look. And now I'm priming my eyelids. Setting that by tapping on some bone-colored eyeshadow, which will give me a nice smooth base for blending. Now I'm taking a cool medium brown eyeshadow and tapping it on the outside corners of my eyes all the way to about the inner third of my eyelid. And if you're gently pressing on your eyes with your brush while you're doing this, your brush will naturally kind of find those contours of your eye, so you'll want to follow that shape while you do that. And then I'm blending out that eyeshadow with a small fluffy brush using small circular motions. With a thinner brush, I'm taking a light reddish brown shadow under my lower lashes to give me that sort of tired, bordering on unhealthy look. And then smudging that a little with a brush and a little with my fingers as well. Next is the eyeliner, and you're going to want a very small wing here. I make a sort of blunt point about the inner third of my eye to sort of change the shape of my eyes, which I then connect with as straight a line as possible to the end of my wing. And don't get too discouraged if you don't get the shape perfect, because just filming this, it took me about 3 tries to get it right. And repeat the same thing on the other eye. Now I'm taking an eyeliner pencil on just the very outer corners of my lower lash line and blending those in with an angled brush to somewhere between the outer third and about halfway across my eye. Cloud doesn't really have a lot of definition much past that point, so again, I'm trying to stick to that. And mascara's next. Try not to go too heavy on your lower lashes, just enough to be able to see them. Here I'm taking the leftover foundation on my sponge to take a little of the pigmentation out of my lips. Again, this is just personal preference, so it's optional. And then set with some setting spray and you're done. So I totally forgot to film anything for the outro of this video, but I did take a bunch of pictures, so here's a couple of my favorites. Thanks for watching. It was really fun to make this, and I definitely want to make another one sometime. Feel free to check out my social media, and I hopefully will see you again soon.